Hello everyone, we are back with part 2 of our Rise of Shadows card review. We're looking at the Hunter cards today. Obviously, if you want to check out any of the other parts, feel free to check out the channel. We should have a video up for all of the different classes. But let's get started. Once again, we are just going over things nice and quickly, giving a short overview. First Hunter card we have here is a spell, 5 mana, Hunting Party. Copy all beasts in your hand. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm sure there's some combo applications here. I'm sure this is a card as well that if it doesn't have any applications in Rise of Shadows, maybe as the standard meta goes on, we may see more beasts, we may see more effective beasts. I don't think this is a very good aggressive card. I think this is probably going to be some form of combo card. Even as a mid-range card, I imagine that Master's Call, just purely ripping things out of your deck, is probably a better way to gas yourself back up. But that being said, Master's Call could be an excellent enabler for Hunting Party. So definitely a card to keep your eye on. This could be completely busted, could also be pretty trash. Next we've got Arcane Fletcher, 4 mana 3/3. Whenever you play a 1-cost minion, draw a spell from your deck. I mean, Hunter's definitely a deck that wants to play some 1-drop minions. Has some pretty good options, as well as plenty of good neutral options. It doesn't have to be a 1-drop beast either, if we're just going for a general face hunter type of thing. How good is drawing spells out of your deck? Well, we mentioned Master's Call before. Unfortunately not great because this isn't a beast. But we could be drawing kill commands out of our deck. We could be drawing arcane shots. We could be drawing Baited Arrow, of course. It's another card that we keep in the rotation, which could actually be quite good. You know, if you're turning your 1 mana minions into burn spells, it's pretty reasonable. Unfortunately, 3/3 stats, not too great. Yeah, and also holding your 1-drops until, you know, turn 5 or something like that to pair with this, or hoping that this lives a turn, might just be too much. It might be a little bit too cute, but I think there's some upside there, and we'll have to keep an eye out on other Hunter spells, because if we can have more easy access to them, it could be quite good. Up next, Ursatron. Oh, this is... Whoa, look at this artwork. Look at this boy. Don't you just want to give him a little scratch under the mouth? Pat his little snoot. There's a 3 mana 3/3 mech. Death Rattle, draw a mech from your deck. So, first thing I think of is too bad Arcane Fletcher wasn't around for Hunter Quest. Ah, that's true. Very unfortunate. Maybe a sick wild deck. First thing that makes me think of is Mechathune. Obviously, you can have just 2 Ursatrons and a Mechathune in your deck, and you'll pretty much always be able to find it, which is quite good. As far as other applications, I mean, we'd have to take a really good look at all the other mechs in the format. It is good body, which I like. Isn't a beast, which I don't like. Does look friendly, I agree. Interesting. Keep an eye on this one. I think it could have some innocuous combo applications. Up next, Rapid Fire. It's a 1 mana spell. Deal 1 damage with Twinspell. So you could have 2 mana deal 2 damage, which is certainly cards that have been played before that have done that. You know, pretty regularly people will Demon Fire just for 2, which is reasonable. This lets you kill 2 1/1 minions as well. I think that if, you know, that Druid go wide deck does turn out to be pretty good, then this could be a nice counter to that type of stuff. Yeah, definitely a meta choice on that one. But it's good that Hunter does have an option for an effect like this, just as Mage has like Shooting Star and things like that, to make sure it keeps things in check. Shimmerfly. Speaking of 1-drop minions, it's a 1 mana 1/1 beast with Death Rattle. Add a random Hunter spell to your hand. So this similar to the Deathweb Spider, the one that Death Rattle to add a beast to your hand. Kind of similar to Jeweled Macaw, kind of similar to a lot of these Hunter 1-drops that they like to kind of put in an expansion every so often. quite good, I think. I really like these types of effects. Obviously, we lose Crackling Razormaw, but Headhunter's Hatchet is still around, so you still have an incentive to play these one-drop beasts. You kind of want a critical mass as well if you're going to try and play aggressive with Master's Call. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think we'll definitely see some play. Unfortunately, we are seeing, I mean, Hunting Party and Rapid Fire so far aren't exciting hunter spells. And unfortunately, if there are quite a lot of unexciting hunter spells, given that the meta, the standard format's so small, you might be pretty likely to get a stinker. So, but still, I like the design. Next card, 9 lives. 3 mana. Discover a friendly Death Rattle minion that has died this game. Also trigger its Death Rattle. So, what are some Death Rattles that are still in Standard that are quite good? Well, let's take Savannah Highmane, because I mean, we're in Hunter, and that's a pretty good, that's a good card to play anyway. So we would get a Savannah Highmane in our hand, and we would also get 2 2/2s in play for 3 mana. Admittedly, it does have to be after turn 6, but that's a pretty good rate. I think that's a tremendous rate, even. You've also got cards like, I mean, there's that 8 mana, 8/8 that restores 8 health, things like that. But I think this is fairly good with any of those Death Rattles that tend to create minions and things like that. Also works with our bear that we saw before. There's definitely some applications here, and you know, we still have Spider Bomb, still have a couple of the Death Rattle Hunter cards left over, even though we have lost Playdead and Cube and other stuff, and Terrascale Stalker. But I still think this is pretty interesting, even if if you just pair it with Savannah Highmane or Katharina Winterwisp or something like that. Oh, Katharina Winterwisp, dang, that's a tasty one. So I think 9 lives could definitely be a part of the meta. If these bigger Death Rattle-y hunter decks become more of a thing. You also get to discover. So if you have had a Spiderbot, a Katharina, and a Savannah Highmane die, just choose the one that you need. I like this. Does going wide mean to fill your board? Yeah, it means rather than, say, making one big threat, making several smaller threats. And there's advantages and disadvantages to each. Now, the next card is Mark Shot. I think this is one of my favorite cards from the latest expansion. It's a 4 mana spell. Deal 4 damage to a minion and discover a spell. Now, it's a bit different to the Shimmerfly, adding a random hunter spell to your hand. Because when we discover, we obviously get the choice, and you know, even if half the hunter spells are bad and half of them are good, you're pretty likely to find one good one here, including Baited Shot, Meat Shot, because it curves off of this quite well. 4 damage to a minion's a fair bit. For 4 mana, I think that's a pretty reasonable rate. Can't go to the dome, so it's not as flexible as a card like, say, Jade Lightning was. But I think Mark Shot is really good and could be pretty important to maybe some kind of mid-range or possibly a controlling hunter deck. You could potentially also discover some secrets for some synergies there. I like this one. Like I said, one of my favorite cards in the set. Weird artwork, though. Very, I don't know. What's going on here? What is this? Cyberpunk? Now we have the Hunter Legendary. It's a 7 mana, a 5/6. Verisa Windrunner. Says, Battlecry, equip Thoridal, the Star's Fury. Now, what was Thoridal, Star's Fury? Hearthstone. Alright, there we go. So, Thoridal, the Star's Fury is a 3 mana, 2/3 weapon. Obviously, the mana cost doesn't really matter. I don't know how you would possibly return it to your hand. So, it's a 2/3 weapon, and it says, after your hero attacks, gain spell damage +2 this turn. So we can pair this with our rapid fire. So we can attack in, and then each of our rapid fires does 3 damage, which is really cool. As well as any potential extra burn from, say, kill commands, from those marked shots, from baited arrow as well. Oof, baited arrow with +2 spell damage. Tremendous. The 7 mana side of things is a bit scary. But the body is good. 5/6 body, 2 damage immediately as well with the Thoridal if you really needed it. So I think for Verisa, I think she's quite good. Obviously, it's really just as good as this kind of spell huntery archetype is. But I think there's enough applications there that it could be quite good. I hope she sees play, at least. Up next, Unleash the Beast. Looks like Leok is getting all up in these imps. About to do a murder, about to do a munch. Is a 6 mana spell with Twinspell. Summon a 5/5 Wyvern with Rush. So I really like this spell, I will say, because I do like Rush. I like cards that have an immediate impact on board. And for 6 mana, 5/5 with Rush, pretty reasonable rate. I mean, you know, you've got to compare that to, say, like Amani Warbear, the 7 mana 5/7 with Taunt and Rush. You can compare it to Militia Commander, of course. I think it does fit in at a pretty good rate, and you get to cast it a second time. So, especially for, you know, maybe you're playing more of a mid-range deck and you're coming up against these aggressive decks, I think that's where these kind of cards really shine, these rush cards, particularly Militia Commander really shines, because you can slay in there and still have a body left behind to trade the next turn. I think a card like Unleash the Beast could be... could make those types of matchups a total wash for your opponent, because you just get to do it twice, and oftentimes cards like that and interactions like that, it only takes 1 to kind of turn the game, 2 completely swings it. So I think Unleash the Beast is great, and certainly a hunter spell that's worth discovering off of your other effects. Like it. We have the Oblivitron. This is the other Hunter Legendary, more the combo-y one. This was spoiled pretty early on. It's a 6 mana 3/4 mech. Death Rattle, summon a mech from your hand and trigger its Death Rattle. So people already, you know, plenty of people speculating with this with Mecha'thun and things like that. As far as fairer Death Rattles go, I mean, we saw the bear before. Are there any neutral mechs that have a sick Death Rattle that aren't named Mecha'thun? None jumped to mind. No, none really jumped to mind. So, for all you combo heads out there, let me know in the comments below. What's the sick combo with Oblivitron? What sweet mechs do you want to pair it with? Obviously, you can use 9 lives with this as well. And potentially just keep going off. Keep getting more Oblivitrons. Keep summoning Oblivitrons from your hand. It actually seems like a pretty juicy situation with the 9 lives. If it, in fact, works that way. If we have an Oblivitron die and we 9 lives it, will we get an Oblivitron in our hand, then trigger its Death Rattle to summon an Oblivitron? 3 mana, that's pretty good. But yeah, those are all the Hunter cards. So join me as we take on Mage cards next. See you soon.